they will fuse and look like a single nerve, but we have two separate nerves. One is spinal accessory, one is cranial accessory. First and foremost, the medulla oblongata is leaving the cranial cavity through this huge foramen called as the foramen magnum. There's a big foramen here that is foramen magnum, and there's another foramen here that is jugular foramen that we've been talking about. This is called as the foramen magnum, and this here is the jugular foramen. Foramen magnum and jugular foramen. Okay. Now, cranial accessory nerve, whatever function is done by the cranial accessory nerve, it is not done by the cranial accessory itself. It is done by the vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is coming out of jugular foramen, and cranial accessory will join it, and then it will use the cranial accessory. It will use the vagus nerve to reach its destination. What I'm trying to say here is that if I just put the vagus nerve first, let me just put the vagus nerve. We have vagus nerve. There is a superior ganglion of vagus nerve. There is an inferior ganglion of vagus nerve, and there is the rest of the vagus. Just only draw this part of the vagus, nothing much. That's vagus nerve here. We saw the branch of the vagus nerve coming from here. That is superior laryngeal nerve. There is a superior laryngeal nerve. That is a branch of the vagus nerve, right? Okay, let me just leave it from here. There's vagus nerve. That's a branch of vagus nerve, superior laryngeal nerve. What cranial accessory nerve will do? Now, as we said, the origin of the cranial accessory nerve is from this nucleus in the medulla oblongata. That is the nucleus ambiguous. Let us say in the medulla oblongata, that here is a nucleus ambiguous. Now, this starting from the nucleus ambiguous, the cranial accessory nerve will come out individually. It will leave the jugular foramen individually and join the vagus nerve just below the superior ganglion. This here is what now? That is cranial. That is having a cranial origin, so that is cranial accessory. Cranial accessory nerve comes out of the jugular foramen separately, but it joins with the vagus just below the inferior ganglion, and then you will see the fiber of this nerve are carried by the superior laryngeal nerve, and then these fibers they will separate and will contribute to the plexus we have been talking about. What plexus is that? That is a pharyngeal plexus. It is contributing to the plexus called as a pharyngeal plexus. So first thing first, cranial accessory nerve, it left the medulla oblongata coming out of the nucleus ambiguous separately. It leaves the jugular foramen separately. It joins the vagus nerve just below the inferior ganglion. That means after that, you will not be able to see the cranial accessory nerve. When you see the side of the neck or the section of the neck, you are not able to see the cranial accessory nerve after this point, because it has joined with what now? With the vagus nerve only. Which branch of vagus nerve? Superior laryngeal nerve, and then it separates from the superior laryngeal nerve to contribute to pharyngeal plexus. Now, what exactly cranial accessory nerve is doing by going into the pharyngeal plexus? The function of cranial accessory nerve is basically to supply the muscles of palate, and it also supply the muscles of pharynx. Now, you don't have to remember all the names. It is going to supply the muscles of palate and muscles of pharynx, except what? Now, exceptions we have already done. Muscles of palate, except which muscle? There is one muscle of palate we discussed yesterday called as a tensor veli palatini, and it was supplied by the trunk of mandibular nerve. So all the muscles of palate, whatever muscles we have in the palate, we have a muscle like levator veli palatini, tensor veli palatini, palatoglossus, palatopharynx. We don't have to remember those names for now. But whatever muscles we have in the palate, they are all supplied by the cranial accessory nerve using this pharyngeal plexus. What exactly this plexus is, that also we will discuss later. Except tensor veli palatini. Tensor veli palatini, we already know it is supplied by what now? It is supplied by the mandibular nerve. It was a mandibular nerve supplying it. And muscles of the pharynx, except which one? Guys, except which one? Except one muscle we discussed today, and that was stylopharyngeus. Stylopharyngeus. As we said, stylopharyngeus is the only muscle supplied by what now? Glossopharyngeal. So these two exceptions you have to keep in head. Muscles of the palate except tensor veli palatini, and muscles of the pharynx except stylopharyngeus. They are rest everything else. All other muscles of palate. There's so many muscles of the pharynx: superior constrictor, middle constrictor, inferior constrictor, stylopharyngeus, palatopharyngeus, and salpingopharyngeus. All of them are supplied by this, except what? Except stylopharyngeus and tensor veli palatini. Exceptions rule. The exceptions you have to remember. So that is the job of what now? Cranial accessory nerve. And whatever cranial accessory nerve is doing, it is doing with the help of vagus. So देखने में ऐसा लगता है. Visually it looks like the vagus nerve is doing it, but it is not. Cranial accessory nerve is the one which supplies the muscles of palate and pharynx. Vagus nerve supplies the muscles of the larynx only, not the palate and pharynx. That is what now cranial accessory nerve is. Now what about the spinal accessory? Now we said spinal accessory nerve will originate from the upper 5 cervical spinal circuit, like C1, C2, C3, C4, and C5. So what you see, that spinal accessory nerve will emerge from C1, C2, C3, C4, C5. All these nerves will join with each other. They go back into the cranial cavity, and they again leaves the cranial cavity through what foramen? Through the jugular foramen. Look at, I'm putting these arrows to tell you the spinal accessory nerve. That's how it is running. It is starting from the C1 to C5 cervical spinal segment, and the nerve first it goes into the cranial cavity through what foramen? Foramen magnum, and then it comes out of the jugular foramen. You usually bhul jate hain. Spinal accessory nerve is a content of two foramen. It is a content of foramen magnum also. It is a content of jugular foramen also. So this here is the spinal accessory nerve. And if you're wondering why the spinal accessory nerve is doing all this drama, first it goes inside and then comes out of jugular foramen. Actually, this part of the spinal cord, first the development of the spinal cord, it elongates from the neural tube. So this portion of the neural tube was actually present inside first. Later on, with the elongation, it came out. So developmentally, spinal accessory nerve is not going into the cranial cavity. The origin of the spinal accessory nerve actually came out. You getting my point? The portion of that part of the neural tube which is forming this region of the spinal cord, it actually came out of the cranial cavity when the elongation of the spinal cord is taking place developmentally. What spinal accessory nerve is doing? It is supplying the two most important muscles of the neck, the two most superficial muscles of the neck, the two muscles which are covered in the investing layer of deep cervical fascia. And what are those two muscles? That is the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. That is the function of the spinal accessory nerve. So make sure that you keep these things separate here. This here is the cranial accessory nerve, which is supplying the muscles of palate and muscles of pharynx, with some exceptions, through pharyngeal plexus using the vagus nerve. Whereas spinal accessory nerve, which is coming from C3, C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, is going to supply the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. So this is how the spinal accessory nerve will be coming out of the cranial cavity and supplying the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. That is simple about the accessory nerve. 11th nerve, the cranial accessory and spinal accessory. Sternocleidomastoid trapezius supplied by them. Now, clinical anatomy of the spinal accessory nerve and cranial accessory nerve, when that part will come, we will discuss it there only, like in the posterior triangle only. Obviously, if the spinal accessory nerve is injured, then your sternocleidomastoid muscle will be involved. But sternocleidomastoid muscle, what is the function of sternocleidomastoid? To help you turn head to the other side. If my right sternocleidomastoid is injured, then I will not be able to turn my head on this side, so my head will be turned to the side only, because my other sternocleidomastoid will take over. So all these things we don't have to discuss the clinical anatomy of all because that's a clinical anatomy of the nerve. We will discuss these in the triangles of the neck. When they are injured in the triangle, what will happen and what not. And the last cranial nerve, the 12th one, the hypoglossal nerve. Hypoglossal, the 12th nerve. Hypoglossal nerve and ansa cervicalis will be discussed together, guys. Remember ansa cervicalis? When we talked about the investing layer and all the one deep cervical fascia, so we saw the carotid sheath on the anterior wall of carotid sheath. Ansa cervicalis was present. First, if we talk about purely about the hypoglossal nerve, guys, hypoglossal nerve will come out of the medulla oblongata. Now let me just draw it in a very simple manner here. If this box here represents the medulla oblongata, that is medulla oblongata, and obviously this nerve here, that is the hypoglossal nerve, which is that we have a hypoglossal nucleus present in the medulla. We know that hypoglossal nucleus is in the medulla oblongata only, right? The first column is GSE, general somatic efferent column. Hypoglossal nucleus is there. 12th nerve nucleus is there. The hypoglossal nerve will come out of the medulla oblongata. It will come out of the medulla oblongata and leave the cranial cavity by a canal or through a canal, and this canal is present very close to foramen magnum. In fact, in the anterior part of foramen magnum only, and this is called as the hypoglossal canal. There is a hypoglossal canal is there, and that hypoglossal canal is giving passage to the hypoglossal nerve. It is giving passage to the hypoglossal nerve. Now, let me see if I have that, still have that picture here. Look at this case. That is the foramen magnum. This is the foramen magnum here. And if you look at the anterior part of foramen magnum, that is a hypoglossal. So from the medulla oblongata, the nerve will begin, and that nerve will enter into this hypoglossal canal, and that's how it will come outside. So it will leave the cranial cavity through this hypoglossal canal, which is present in the more into the close to the anterior margin of the foramen magnum. Once the hypoglossal canal comes, it will go through certain triangles of the neck. What triangles we will discuss that tomorrow. But hypoglossal nerve will come and supply the muscles of the tongue. Well, as the name says, this nerve is going to supply all muscles of the tongue. It is going to supply all muscles of tongue. Again, you don't have to remember those names of the muscles of tongue as of now. The genioglossus, hyoglossus, and all. All the muscles of tongue except one. Exceptions are always there. Except one muscle, and that muscle is called as the palatoglossus. This is very important. There is just one muscle of the tongue which is not supplied by the hypoglossal nerve, and that muscle is the palatoglossus. Except palatoglossus. All muscles of tongue except palatoglossus. Why not palatoglossus? Because the name says palatoglossus. It is a muscle of palate also. The muscle actually comes from the palate and then to the tongue. So it is a common muscle. Ye muscle palate ka bhi hai, muscle tongue ka bhi hai. It's a muscle of palate and tongue both. And it is supplied by the nerve which is the main nerve for the palate. There we have it. You already said that muscles of the palate is supplied by cranial accessory nerve using the vagus nerve, cranial accessory via vagus, right? So that is already supplied. Palatoglossus is supplied here only. So hypoglossal nerve is not supplied. So this is the tongue. This is a muscle of tongue as well as palate, but not supplied by the hypoglossal. If I think of hypoglossal purely about hypoglossal nerve, that's it. That is it. Hypoglossal nerve function. Hypoglossal nerve will come out of the hypoglossal canal, will go in front and supplies the muscles of the tongue except the palatoglossus. Right? This is the only thing we have in hypoglossal nerve. But again, in head and neck, you've already seen this thing that a nerve joins with another nerve and then will serve some purpose here. Will supply some structures. Same is going to happen here. The first cervical nerve, if this is medulla oblongata, if I extend this diagram downward, this will become spinal cord. My medulla oblongata will continue below as a spinal cord only. Right? This will be spinal cord. So in the spinal cord, actually, C1 is there. We have a C2 here. We have a C3 here, like that. We already discussed C1, C2, C3. What C1 will do? The C1 nerve will come out and it will join with the hypoglossal nerve. Now look at this. C1 nerve will join with the hypoglossal nerve. It will run with the hypoglossal nerve, and in the anterior part, it will separate to supply two muscles. And when you look at the diagram, when you look at the dissection or any atlas picture, it will look like that hypoglossal nerve is going to supply those two muscles. No. It's actually C1 fibers which are joined with the hypoglossal. They come in front and separate and supplies these two muscles. Which two muscles? One of them is called as the geniohyoid, and one muscle is called as a thyrohyoid. Actually, one muscle is above the hyoid bone, one muscle is below the hyoid bone. Geniohyoid and thyrohyoid. That's one thing to remember, that geniohyoid and thyrohyoid, although they will look like they're supplied by the hypoglossal nerve, but if somebody asks you what is the nerve supply of guys, if you don't worry about that, where exactly geniohyoid is, where is thyrohyoid is, we will discuss it all. I have to tell you the name of these muscles because we are discussing cranial nerve. So geniohyoid and thyrohyoid, both these muscles don't say they're supplied by hypoglossal nerve, they're supplied by C1 via hypoglossal. They're using the C1 nerve is using the hypoglossal nerve to reach its destination. Well, this is still not it. C1 nerve will also use the hypoglossal nerve to go back into the cranial cavity. C1 nerve will also use the hypoglossal nerve to go back into cranial cavity. Again, same story. If any nerve is going back into the cranial cavity, it is going to supply what? It is going to supply the dura of the posterior cranial fossa. C1 branch, you can see the C1 branch is going forward also like this. C1 branch is going upward also. C1 branch is going forward, that is supplying the geniohyoid and thyrohyoid, and a branch of C1 along with the hypoglossal nerve goes back into the cranial cavity to supply the dura mater of posterior cranial fossa. After that, the C1 nerve also, still there are more also here. C1 nerve also gives off a descending branch in the neck. So this is you are already a little aware of. There's a descending branch coming from the C1. It is running in the neck, in front of the carotid sheath. This branch is coming from this branch looks like it is coming from hypoglossal nerve, or it is coming from the region of the hypoglossal nerve. So we call it descendants. The nerve is called as descendants hypoglossi. This nerve is called as descendants hypoglossi. Similarly, C2 and C3 branch, obviously they are not connected to hypoglossal nerve. C2 and C3 have no connection to hypoglossal nerve, but they will also give a descending branch in the neck parallel to this nerve. This is called as descendants. It is descending, so again descendants. But this is descending directly from the cervical nerve. So we call it descendants cervicalis. So that was descendants hypoglossi, which is coming from where? C1. And the descendants cervicalis is coming from C2. Both these nerves, they will join with each other, and that is called as the loop of ansa cervicalis. That here is the loop of ansa cervicalis. Guys, remember ansa cervicalis? It was the anterior relation of carotid sheath. You have to connect all these points, whatever we discussed earlier. That's why I keep saying that you have to read the previous part. It is all in the very much sequence here. The ansa cervicalis, if you remember, it was the anterior relation of the carotid sheath. It is exactly adherent to the anterior wall of carotid sheath. And there are two roots of the ansa cervicalis. One is descendens hypoglossal, one is descendens cervicalis. In short, we say that ansa cervicalis supplies the strap muscles. Strap muscles are the muscles of the midline of the neck which are present below the hyoid bone. All the muscles of the neck which are present below the hyoid bone in the midline are strap muscle. Sternothyroid, sternohyoid, omohyoid, all these are strap muscles, and they're all supplied by the ansa cervicalis except one. So in this ansa cervicalis, what you see, descendens hypoglossal will supply a muscle which is called as the superior belly of omohyoid. I will show you that muscle in a while. That is called a superior belly of omohyoid. And whereas the lower part, the loop part here, is going to supply the remaining three strap muscle, which is the inferior belly of omohyoid. Then there is a muscle called as the sternothyroid, and there is a muscle called as the sternohyoid. It's a constant muscle. We call it strap muscle, S-T-R-A-P, strap, like scale-like muscle present in the midline of neck. But remember, below the hyoid bone. They're all below the hyoid bone. Superior belly of omohyoid, inferior belly of omohyoid, sternothyroid, and sternohyoid. Superior belly of omohyoid, you can say, is supplied by descendens hypoglossal, and rest are supplied by the loop of ansa cervicalis. For और precisely बताए तो it is like superior belly of omohyoid is by descendens hypoglossal, and the loop of ansa cervicalis supplies the remaining strap muscles. So we say all the strap muscles, guys, all strap muscles are supplied by ansa cervicalis except one. Except one. Which one? There we have it. This is the only strap muscle. This is the only strap muscle not supplied by the ansa cervicalis. It is the only strap muscle which is not supplied by the ansa cervicalis. Genohyoid is above the hyoid bone. Look at this. If this is a hyoid bone for me, there is a muscle which is below the hyoid called as a thyrohyoid. Obviously, it is between the thyroid and hyoid. And there is another muscle called as genohyoid. Genohyoid is from the mandible. It is a muscle from the mandible to the hyoid that is called as genohyoid. So genohyoid is above the hyoid bone. It is not a strap muscle. Genohyoid is not a strap muscle, but thyrohyoid is a strap muscle. And that is the only strap muscle which is not supplied by the ansa cervicalis. I want you to please write down this about strap muscles. Strap muscles are the midline muscles of the neck which are present below the hyoid bone. Midline muscles of the neck which are present below the hyoid bone. Below the hyoid bone. Strap muscles are the muscles of the neck which are present below the hyoid bone. So that concludes the cranial nerves for us, guys. This is about the cranial nerves. Before I show you some picture and try to explain you this in a different way, let's do one thing. Let's try to summarize the exceptions. What are the exceptions we discussed here? If I just write down some exceptions that we discussed in last 2 days, because these are very important viva questions or straight one-liner questions. Now, what exceptions we talked about? If I start with the let me start with the mandibular nerve, that the first motor nerve we talked about. We said all muscles of mastication are supplied by the anterior division of mandibular nerve. All muscles of mastication are supplied by the anterior division. Because all the muscles of mastication are by the anterior division, except one. Except which one? Except medial pterygoid. Because we saw medial pterygoid was supplied by what? Medial pterygoid was supplied by the trunk of mandibular nerve. It is not by the anterior division, it is by the trunk of mandibular nerve. That is the first exception we saw. Let's keep highlighting these exceptions here. So we said all muscles of mastication, medial lateral pterygoid, temporalis, masseter, they're all supplied by anterior division, except medial pterygoid, which we saw medial pterygoid was supplied by the trunk. All muscles of palate, what do you want to discuss? All muscles of palate are supplied by cranial accessory nerve via vagus. Using the vagus nerve only, right? All muscles of palate are supplied by cranial accessory nerve via vagus. All muscles of palate are supplied by cranial accessory via vagus. You know this cranial accessory via vagus is called vago-accessory complex. Cranial accessory nerve was using the vagus nerve to supply the muscles, but this is also called as a vago-accessory complex. It's a complex of vagus and accessory nerve. Either you say cranial accessory via vagus, or you can call it VAC, guys. You can write it somewhere separately. That is, VAC means vago-accessory complex. Cranial accessory and vagus are joining. That complex is also called as the VAC, vago-accessory complex. So yes, all muscles of palate are supplied by the cranial accessory via vagus or vago-accessory complex, except which one? Except tensor veli palatini. Except tensor veli palatini, which is supplied by what? Which is again supplied by the mandibular nerve, by the same trunk of the mandibular nerve only. Both the tensor muscles are supplied to mandibular nerve. Okay. Then we said all muscles of pharynx are supplied by again cranial accessory via vagus. Same VAC. They're supplied by cranial accessory via vagus. All muscles of pharynx are supplied by cranial accessory via vagus, except stylopharyngeus. Except stylopharyngeus. Although there is one more muscle which can come into this category, that's a part of inferior constrictor called as the cricopharyngeus part. Cricopharyngeus also. You can write except stylopharyngeus and cricopharyngeus. But I would want to tell you about the cricopharyngeus in the pharynx only. There's something more about it. Cricopharyngeus it usually have an innervation from the other nerve as well. So let's not write cricopharyngeus. Let's only stick to stylopharyngeus only. And we said stylopharyngeus was the only muscle supplied by what nerve? By the glossopharyngeal nerve. Stylopharyngeus was the only muscle supplied by the glossopharyngeal nerve. That was another exception we discussed. Then we said all muscles of larynx. We discussed all muscles of larynx are by recurrent laryngeal nerve. Right? Recurrent laryngeal nerve was coming back and supplying all the muscles of larynx, except which muscle? Except one muscle of larynx which was present outside, and that was cricothyroid. Except cricothyroid, if you remember, cricothyroid was supplied by the external laryngeal nerve. So all muscles of the larynx except cricothyroid are supplied by the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Cricothyroid is supplied by external laryngeal nerve. Something we just discussed, all muscles of tongue. We said all muscles of tongue are by which nerve? Are by the hypoglossal nerve, right? All the muscles of tongue are by hypoglossal nerve, except which one? Except palatoglossus. Except palatoglossus, and palatoglossus is supplied by the, again, same cranial accessory via vagus. Let me write VAC this time. Vago accessory complex, or you can say cranial accessory via vagus. All muscles of tongue are by hypoglossal nerve, except palatoglossus, which is by vago accessory complex. And then finally, all strap muscles. All strap muscles are supplied by ansa cervicalis. All strap muscles are by the ansa cervicalis, except which one? Pyrohyoid. Pyrohyoid is the only strap muscle which is not supplied by the ansa cervicalis. In fact, it is supplied by what? No, it is supplied by, what is it supplied by? It is supplied by the C1 via hypoglossal. It is supplied by the C1 nerve using the hypoglossal nerve. C1 via hypoglossal. Exceptions के ऊपर अलग से questions आए थे. That's why you should know all the exceptions. These are all exceptions we have here. Muscles of mastication make exception है, palate make exception है, pharynx make exception है, larynx make exception है, tongue में, or again in the trap muscle. So all these group of muscles, they're having one exception, and you should know that what nerve is going to supply. Look at this huge picture here. There's so many nerves in there. This here is the pterygopalatine ganglion. PPG, I hope you can see that here, pterygopalatine ganglion. And obviously, the nerve here is the maxillary nerve. This nerve here is the maxillary nerve. The maxillary nerve is continuing down below the orbit, we said, or in the floor of the orbit as what nerve? That is the infraorbital nerve. It is continuing as the infraorbital nerve. And you can see maxillary nerve is giving off the branches which are piercing the body of maxilla from behind. That is posterior superior alveolar nerve. एक भी हो सकता है, दो भी हो सकता है. They have shown two nerves here. That's not a big deal. Basically, these here are the posterior superior alveolar nerve. That is posterior superior alveolar nerve. This one here is the middle superior alveolar nerve, and this one here is the anterior superior alveolar nerve. And you can see ultimately the nerve is coming out as infraorbital nerve and supply from the infraorbital foramen and going to supply the skin on the face below the orbit. Right? This is we've discussed yesterday also. What else we can see in this image? What else we can see in this image is I can see the mandibular nerve very clearly here. I can first see all the muscular branches of the mandibular nerve. Look at all these are the muscular branches of mandibular nerve supplying the muscles, temporalis and all that. What important is to be noticed here is that the one, apart from the muscular branches, apart from all these muscular branches, the one branch which I can see is going forward and will be supplying the skin of the cheek. That is a buccal nerve that you see here. That's the buccal nerve that you can see which is running forward, and that will be supplying the skin of the cheek and the mucosa of the cheek also. This major nerve identified, is not anything. Obviously, this nerve is very easily identified based on this artery here. You know that this artery here is what? Middle meningeal artery. That is the middle meningeal artery. Now, that is the middle meningeal artery. The nerve which is running along with it is the nervus spinosus. That is the nervus spinosus. And this here is the auriculotemporal nerve. Look at this. The nerve which is looping around and going back, that is the auriculotemporal nerve. What are the other two major nerves that you see descending down? One is auriculotemporal nerve. The two other nerves which are the main nerve from the posterior division is the lingual nerve. Now, this here, if I just put it this way, this here is the lingual nerve. Look at this guys. This is the lingual nerve. Why? As you can see, the submandibular ganglion is also related. That's a submandibular ganglion below. So this is the lingual nerve here. That is the lingual nerve. And I hope you can see that choroid vein is joining it. Look carefully. Can you see the choroid vein nerve is joining it from the? That's how the choroid vein nerve will be coming and joining it here. Sorry. If this is the lingual nerve, of course, this ganglion here is the submandibular ganglion. If I label it as SMG, that is the submandibular ganglion you can see below. And what nerve is this? This nerve, you can see it is entering inside the mandible. If I just zoom out a little, you can see that is the inferior alveolar nerve. This nerve here is the inferior alveolar nerve. One of the posterior division, inferior alveolar nerve, which will go inside and supply the alveoli and come out as what nerve from here? As the mental nerve from this part. The branch of the inferior alveolar nerve which runs downward and supplies the anterior berry of digastric and mylohyoid. Look at that nerve. That is what? That is the nerve to mylohyoid. This here is the nerve, I'm writing nerve to MH, to the mylohyoid. Nerve to mylohyoid. See, this is the cut end of trunk of facial nerve. They have not shown facial nerve here. That is a facial nerve, guys. This is a facial nerve coming out of the stylomastoid foramen and they have cut it. You can see the true trunk of the facial nerve that we said in the parotid gland. We have the two trunk here. One was what? One was a cervicotemporal or temporocervical you can say, and one was a cervicofacial trunk. So the two part, which again will divide into further branches in the parotid gland. So parotid gland and everything is removed from here, so we can't see it. What other nerve we can identify from this picture is, first, let me highlight this and then I'll rub it off. Look at the hypoglossal nerve first. There we go. Let me just mark it with dark one. This is the hypoglossal nerve. And then it will go and supply the tongue muscle. That is hypoglossal nerve. Now, why I'm saying it is hypoglossal nerve? First of all, hypoglossal nerve, also nerve joining the C1 nerve was joining it. C1 nerve joins the hypoglossal nerve and then will leave the hypoglossal nerve to supply one muscle which will be in this region. What muscle? Thyroid. They have not shown thyroid muscle, but if thyroid muscle has been here, is present, it will be here only. Between the thyroid and hyoid here. But that's C1 nerve coming from the hypoglossal. हम उल्टा हमने ऐसे ड्रॉ किया, seeing it another way. What else? This is interesting guys. Look at this. From the hypoglossal nerve, can you see descendants hypoglossal? Look at this descendants hypoglossal coming down. And look at this which is coming from C2 and C3. And that is also descending down and together forming the ansa cervicalis. I hope you can able to see ansa cervicalis. So we have a descendants hypoglossal coming from the hypoglossal nerve, and from the C2 and C3 we have a descending one that is descendants cervicalis together forming the ansa cervicalis. You can see one branch they have shown here which is going to supply the superior belly of omohyoid, and the rest of the strap muscle will be supplied by the lower part from the loop of the ansa cervicalis. And it is present in front of carotid sheath. You can see this present in front of the carotid artery. So it is in anterior relation of the carotid sheath only. Don't bother about these nerves. These are the cervical nerves actually. C2, C3, C4, the major nerves which are going out cervical plexus. So don't get too much bothered with that. I just want you to understand the relevant nerves that we have discussed and that you should remember. Glossopharyngeal nerve can be seen here as well. Let me use a different color to denote that because I'm using a blue color here. Look at this. Glossopharyngeal nerve. Here we go. It comes out like this. And we said glossopharyngeal nerve. It will be going deep to which muscle? We said it is going deep to the hyoglossus muscle. It's going deep to hyoglossus muscle. And which muscle it supplies? The only muscle supplied by this is the stylopharyngeus muscle. This is the only muscle supplied by the glossopharyngeal. That's a part of glossopharyngeal nerve I can see here. What else I can see from glossopharyngeal nerve? It is supplying the stylopharyngeus muscle. It is obviously contributing to the plexus, that is we are not bothered about that. It is going deep to hyoglossus. And one important thing that you will notice from this diagram only, look at this branch which I'm pointing at right now, going down, and giving off the supply to the carotid body and carotid sinus. Nerve of herring. Glossopharyngeal nerve, it is giving off the nerve of herring also, which obviously will supply the carotid body and carotid sinus. It is not easy to identify all these. You can see there's so many branches coming in because they're contributing to the pharyngeal plexus. So don't worry about everything else. You don't have to identify everything, but yes, still a lot of things can be identified here based on the relation that we discussed now. Based on the relation, I can see the vagus nerve running there. That's a vagus nerve which is running at the back here. That's a vagus nerve running back. But I am not able to identify the branches of vagus nerve because of the carotid artery and everything is placed here. But I can see the branch of vagus nerve here. Look at this, guys. This is the branch of vagus nerve we said will pierce the thyroid membrane. That branch of vagus nerve which pierces the thyroid membrane, that was the external laryngeal nerve. And the branch of the vagus nerve which will go down and supply the cricothyroid muscle. Sorry, this is external laryngeal. I'm sorry. That is external laryngeal nerve. The one which was going inside is internal laryngeal nerve. It is going inside to supply the mucosa of the larynx, and the one branch which is coming down here and supplying this external cricothyroid, that is the external laryngeal. That is external laryngeal. अभी कितना भी identify कर लिया ना, that's more than enough. Like more than enough. All of the small things. If you see other things here, because sympathetic chain is also there. If you see these ganglions here, that is because of the sympathetic chain is there. Okay. Then this main nerve, there is a vagus nerve. Then the nerve which is coming back here, that what nerve is that? That is a recurrent laryngeal nerve. You can see this coming in the trachea, between the trachea and esophagus. That's a recurrent laryngeal nerve. Let's go slow and easy. These are the brachial plexus. Look at the brachial plexus will be coming out between the scalenus anterior and scalenus medius. So it will take time. It will take time to understand and identify all the nerves. But what I believe is that if you really go in a good sequence, if you try to understand the nerve that we discussed, it doesn't matter how complicated diagram or how complicated images is given. People usually have nightmare about these images, guys. I mean, look at this labeling here. Look at this labeling. Abhi isko labeling padte it will take an entire day only. You have to pick up a nerve and then you have to go and see what nerve is that, where it is coming from. But once we are done with all the nerves, once we are done with all the muscles, once we are done with the blood vessels, once we are done with the triangles, fossas in the head and neck, doesn't matter whatever atlas image, whatever category picture they will give you, you still will be able to identify each and everything in it. Each and everything. So now let's talk about the deep cervical fascia or the deep fascia of the neck. Deep cervical fascia, which is in previous texts they used to call it the fascia puli also. The puli, the word is for the neck. So deep cervical fascia. Deep fascia of the neck is not a simple fascia that like the other deep fascia that we have in the other part of the body. If you look at the fascial art of the thigh, the deep fascia of thigh is covering the entire thigh all around, giving off some septum. That's it. It's pretty simple fascia if you think about the thigh. Like we have a scarpus fascia in the abdominal wall. So these are relatively simpler fascia when you compare it to the neck. But it all has to do with the development also. There's so many things developing in the neck from different sources, from pharyngeal arches, from neural crescents, the invaginating, going out, coming in. So the cervical fascia also have to modify. So deep cervical fascia, it's all about its modification. So there are many modifications we have, like investing layer. Then we have some covering the gland, which is like we have a pretracheal layer. Some covering the prevertebral muscle, that is a prevertebral layer. Some covering blood vessels called as carotid sheath. So many extensions of deep cervical fascia are there. And it is imperative to understand the deep cervical fascia before we go any further in head and neck. Because now knowing the cranial nerves, once you know the deep cervical fascia and the blood vessels, then we'll be in a very, very good position to talk about of the triangles of the neck in detail and understand them rather than bugging them up. So before we start this topic, the deep cervical fascia, now do you know any part of the body where deep fascia is not present? We usually have deep fascia everywhere, but there are certain places where deep fascia is not present. One is face. You cannot have deep fascia on the face. Muscles of facial expression, they originate from bone, but they ultimately insert on the skin, and that's how their wrinkling can cause the different type of facial expression. If there's a deep fascia on the face, you can never have a facial expression. You'll have a masked face. That's why there's no deep fascia on the face. Although exception is parotid gland. On the face, obviously parotid gland is considered to be on face only, but parotid gland is having a deep fascia around it. You know the bumps are extremely painful because it is unyielding type of fascia we have around parotid. Rest of the face, devoid. Anterior abdominal wall is having two layers of superficial fascia called as a campus fascia and scarpus fascia. Both are superficial. So again, there is no deep fascia on the anterior abdominal wall. And again, makes sense. Anterior abdominal wall need to expand pregnancy, obesity, ascites. So they need an expansion of the anterior abdominal wall. And it cannot be done. It can be done because there is no deep fascia. So let me write those 2 points first. That areas devoid of deep fascia. Areas which are devoid of deep fascia. Face except parotid region. Face except parotid. Parotid gland is having a very thick fascia. We call it parotidomesenteric fascia because it is on the mesenteric muscle. So we call it parotidomesenteric fascia. It's a very strong fascia around the parotid gland. And the second is the anterior abdominal wall. Anterior abdominal wall. Posterior abdominal wall is having a fascia called as thoracolumbar fascia. Anterior abdominal wall is not. Now, as we said, the thing in the deep fascia are the modifications. So let's talk about the modifications of DCF. I'm writing DCF for deep cervical fascia. Let's name them first and then we'll discuss them diagrammatically one by one. The modification of the deep cervical fascia includes number 1, investing layer. There's an investing layer of deep cervical fascia. As the name suggests, investing layer will be the one which is investing certain structures inside. Some glands, some muscles, some spaces. So they basically surround or invest structures inside. So we call it investing layer. Then we got pretracheal layer. Pretracheal again, it is present in front of the trachea. Pretracheal layer is mainly enclosing the thyroid gland. Although we have a muscular part of pretracheal layer, we'll discuss that, which is enclosing the strap muscle also. But the major part of pretracheal layer is enclosing thyroid gland. It is in front of the trachea. Then we have prevertebral layer. Prevertebral layer again tells you it is like enclosing the prevertebral muscle. The name sometimes could be misleading because when you look at the name prevertebral, we think of it as present only in front of vertebrae. No, it's not. It is present all around the vertebrae. So it is enclosing the prevertebral muscles all around. So that's a prevertebral layer. layer and pre-vertebral layer, these are the primary modifications we have, and these together will give rise to the carotid sheath. So in a way, carotid sheath is a modification of modification. It is derived from the investing layer, pretracheal layer, pre-vertebral layer. We will see that. Then we got a fascia called as buccopharyngeal fascia, and the one is pharyngo-basilar fascia. Buccopharyngeal and pharyngo-basilar fascia. So before we start in detail about all these fascias, look at the name guys, buccopharyngeal and pharyngo-basilar. The name should tell you everything about them. Bucco and pharyngeal, there are two components here. Bucco word is for buccal. Buccal means cheek, and pharyngeal obviously is for pharynx. So a fascia which is covering the cheek as well as pharynx. So there is a fascia which is covering the buccinator muscle from outside, and the same fascia goes behind and covers the pharyngeal muscle also. That is constrictor muscle. So you will see a continuous fascia outside the buccinator muscle, and the same fascia continues backward and covers the superior constrictor muscle also. And that's why the name is what? Pharyngo-basilar fascia, on the other hand, is the fascia which is covering the pharyngeal wall from inside. The name says the pharyngo, so it's covering the pharyngeal wall from inside. And then this fascia goes and attached to the base of the skull. And that's why the name is a pharyngo-basilar fascia. So the one which is outside the pharyngeal wall and covering the buccinator is called as buccopharyngeal. Buccinator as well as pharyngeal, buccopharyngeal. But the one which is covering the pharyngeal wall from inside and then it is attached to the base of the skull, that is pharyngo-basilar. So remember that buccopharyngeal is outside and pharyngo-basilar is inside. Although we will be discussing these two fascias in more detail in the pharynx part. So as of now, our main focus will be on these layers of the deep cervical fascia, investing, pretracheal, prevertebral, and carotid. To understand the deep cervical fascia modification, we got to consider it in two sections. We'll take a first transverse section of the neck, and we'll see how exactly the deep cervical fascia is expanding there and what are the modifications. And then we'll see a longitudinal section. See, the purpose is entirely different. When you take a transverse section of neck, we need to see how deep cervical fascia, different part, like investing, pretracheal layer, are enclosing the structures. But when we see a longitudinal section, our main aim there is to see the extension of the deep cervical fascia downward. Is there a fascia which is reaching till the neck only? Is there a fascia which goes to the root of the neck? Do we have any part of deep cervical fascia going beyond neck? So we got to look into that so that we can find out that if there is an infection of a particular space, to which region they can expand. Can they only go to the root of the neck, or they can even reach the medial sternum as well? So that's why starting with that, we'll take a first transverse section and fun. Then we'll talk about the cervical section. And both these sections have been asked in the exam in an image-based question. So first, let's take the transverse section of the neck. So when you take a transverse section of the neck, the most anterolateral muscle and the most posterolateral muscle. So what is the most major anterolateral muscle? Is sternocleidomastoid, right? That's the sternocleidomastoid, bilaterally anterolaterally present here, and posteriorly the trapezius muscle. So there we go. So this here is the sternocleidomastoid, anterolaterally placed in the transverse section, and posterolaterally we got the trapezius muscle. I'm going to show you comparative picture atlas images also once we're done with it. Sternocleidomastoid, and this one here is I'm writing TZ for trapezius. First we said investing layer. Now this is the deep cervical fascia only, and it is investing certain structures like these muscles only. So we have an extension of the deep cervical fascia enclosing sternocleidomastoid, as you can see, and also enclosing the trapezius muscle. So that is telling you about what layer? It is telling you about the investing layer. So let's say this here is the investing layer, the one which is covering these two muscles. Investing layer is not only covering the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius, there are many glands and other things also which are enclosed in it. But as of now in this section, I can only appreciate the two muscles being enclosed inside. Okay, what else? If you look at the posterior side, let's say here's a vertebral column. Let's draw it roughly here. This is a vertebral column here. So obviously the muscle that you see in relation to the vertebral column, we call them the prevertebral muscles, like scalenus anterior, scalenus medius, and posterior. All these are prevertebral muscles. And all these muscles they are covered with a very, very thick fascia protecting it. What is a prevertebral fascia? So the fascia that you see covering the prevertebral muscle all the way around here, this here is the prevertebral fascia. The fascia that is called the prevertebral fascia. Now understand one thing here itself is prevertebral fascia, as I said, it is completely sleeving around the vertebral column and the muscles. And obviously inside here the vertebral column there's a spinal cord which is giving off spinal nerves. So if a spinal nerve has to come out from here and go into other regions like upper limb, like the nerves like C5, C6, C7, C8, they will all form brachial plexus. So when these nerves start from the spinal cord, these nerve roots start from the spinal cord, they have to leave this region and go into upper limb. And in upper limb, if you know about this, in the axilla, the brachial plexus is enclosed in a sheath called as axillary sheath, which tells me that axillary sheath present in the axilla is an extension of this prevertebral fascia only. So when the nerves and vessels from here, they will go out toward the upper limb, they will push this fascia along with it and forms a sleeve along with it, and that sleeve is called as an axillary sheath. So this question has also been asked, that extension of prevertebral fascia in this axillary region forms the axillary sheath. So I can say axillary sheath is one of the modification of or extension of prevertebral fascia. And what axillary sheath does? Axillary sheath encloses axillary vessels. It encloses axillary vessels and brachial plexus. Axillary vessels and brachial plexus. We'll discuss this axillary sheath content in the upper part and the axilla part. When we talk about brachial plexus, so both axillary artery and brachial plexus, they'll see enclosed in a sheath, the sleeve which is an extension of prevertebral fascia. So till now we have looked into the two modifications in the diagram. One is investing layer and one the prevertebral layer. Okay. Let's go in this diagram more further here. So obviously we expect to see the esophagus there, the pharynx and the esophagus here. And more anterior to that, there will be the trachea. So this here is the trachea. So we have a third modification there, which is present in front of the trachea, and that is called as a pretracheal layer. That is called as a pretracheal layer. This is a pretracheal layer, pretracheal fascia. But the purpose of pretracheal mainly here is to enclose the thyroid gland. The one which I'm highlighting right now, this is the thyroid gland, and this is enclosed in the pretracheal layer. When this thyroid gland which is enclosed in the pretracheal layer is forming what type of capsule for the thyroid? Is it a true capsule or is it a false capsule? As this here is the false capsule of thyroid. This is the false capsule of thyroid. See, any extension of any capsule which is coming from outside can never be a true capsule. When you look at the pelvic fascia, it forms a capsule around the prostate gland. So that pelvic fascia around the prostate gland is also contributed from the outside. So that also is a false capsule. Same story here. Pretracheal layer is contributed by the deep cervical fascia. So it is a false capsule. When you say true capsule is always the condensation of the gland's own stroma. If the stroma of the gland is forming a fascia, then you call it a true capsule. Otherwise, they're all false capsule. Doesn't matter where they're coming from. A little detail to be added here in the pretracheal layer. Pretracheal layer is actually having two parts. We have a visceral layer of pretracheal fascia and we have a muscular layer. Visceral layer and muscular layer. Now, obviously, the thyroid gland is a visceral, I will say here. So, thyroid gland is present in the visceral layer. So, it is enclosed in visceral layer of pretracheal fascia. This pretracheal fascia was also having the muscular layer. It is also having the muscular layer, and this muscular layer encloses strap muscles. It encloses strap muscle. So let's say if we give you an image-based question in which the strap muscles are shown in the transverse section, or maybe in the longitudinal section, and you're looking at this sternothyroid, or any of these mid-line strap muscle, and you see a fascia which is enclosing them. Please don't confuse that with the investing layer. Because when you think of a fascia covering a muscle, the investing layer comes to the mind. But investing layer is enclosing the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius only. If it comes to muscle, the muscle in the midline here are enclosed in the fascia, which may look like investing layer, but it is a part of pretracheal layer, more precisely muscular part of muscular layer of the pretracheal fascia. So we have a two part of pretracheal fascia, visceral layer enclosing the gland, and muscular layer enclosing the muscles. That strap muscle is enclosing. If I try to draw that here, like if you have a muscle in front, we have the strap muscle present in front of thyroid gland, the sternothyroid like that. You have a muscle like this. So if you use the same color, you will have the fascia enclosing these muscles also. So that's the one I'm talking about. The strap muscle which are forming an anterolateral relation of thyroid gland, they are enclosed in the same pretracheal fascia. So guys, by now we are looking at three major investing: pretracheal and prevertebral. And then we said carotid sheath is a modification of all the three. First, the very important thing is what is the location of carotid sheath. In the last 3-4 years, carotid sheath is one of the heavily asked questions. They ask the relations of carotid sheath, content of carotid sheath, theoretically as well as in the image-based questions also. So you cannot miss this one. Carotid sheath is located just posterior lateral to thyroid. So if I have to put a thyroid gland in here, it is posterior lateral thyroid gland. So carotid sheath is somewhere here, posterior lateral. This is where carotid sheath is present. Let me just label it on one side. We'll discuss it separately. This is carotid sheath, which we already mentioned. It is an extension of investing pretracheal and prevertebral layer. And have your contribution coming from, let me draw these arrows here. One, it is coming from the pretracheal layer. We have an extension coming from the investing layer, and we also have an extension coming from the prevertebral layer. So all together are giving rise to the carotid sheath. So basically, all these three fascia give an extension, and that makes a sleeve around the blood vessels, major blood vessels of the neck. That is called as carotid sheath. Let's take out this carotid sheath from here, see it in a longitudinal section, see what are the contents in there, and then we'll talk about the relations also. So guys, let's look into the carotid sheath separately. Now let's say this is the longitudinal view of the carotid sheath. As the name suggests, carotid sheath will be having carotid vessels inside. So we have common carotid artery, and you will see common carotid artery will continue as internal carotid artery, whereas the one which will come out of the carotid sheath is the external carotid artery. So that is not the content. The vein that you will appreciate inside is the internal jugular vein. And obviously the nerve which is sandwiched in between, the nerve that you will find in between the two is the vagus nerve. So look at carefully the highlighted part only. Those are the ones which are the content of carotid sheath. These are the contents of carotid sheath. If I name them, this here is the internal carotid artery. Internal carotid artery is considered to be the continuation of common carotid artery. I'll tell you a bit more about it. This here is external carotid artery, which is not a content. I'm just putting a cross mark on it. It is not a content. Vagus nerve, that's a vagus. Vagus nerve is exactly sandwiched between the artery and the vein. You can't see the vagus nerve unless you open the carotid sheath and separate the vessels. Then only you can appreciate the vagus nerve. And of course, the vein here is the internal jugular vein. So these are the content: internal carotid, vagus nerve, internal jugular vein, and common carotid artery. Now there's a very important concept here which will help you in the later part as well. If you look at the in body, there are certain blood vessels which seems to be present in a continuation. Like if you look at common carotid artery, and if you go above, it looks like the major continuation of common carotid is internal carotid, whereas external carotid looks like a branch coming out of it. And that is again developmental. I hope you heard of the term called as vasculogenesis and angiogenesis. Vasculogenesis means development of blood vessel from the pre-existing mesoderm. Now there's a, let's say, pre-existing mesoderm is present. When the blood vessel develops in that mesoderm, we simply call it vasculogenesis, development of a blood vessel. But when a blood vessel comes from another blood vessel, as a sprouting, as a budding, that is called as angiogenesis. Blood vessel from blood vessel is called as angiogenesis. So whenever you see the blood vessels in continuation, like common carotid artery and internal carotid artery, this tells you they are the example of vasculogenesis. So there was some mesoderm present in the pharyngeal arch or whatever, and that gives rise to these blood vessels. The proximal part form the common carotid, and the distal part form the internal carotid. But later on, external carotid bulb came out, and that grew as a separate blood vessel. So that is an example of what? Angiogenesis. Why it is important to know for us? Because if you know the blood vessels in continuation, if you know the blood vessel of vasculogenesis, we can also think about that thrombus are more prone to go into which blood vessel. Now let's say from arch of aorta, if a thrombus hits into common carotid artery, once it goes into common carotid artery, it is more likely to go into which one? External or internal? Of course, internal carotid artery, because that's the continuation. Now this internal carotid artery, when it goes inside renal cavity, what is the vasculogenesis of internal carotid? Internal carotid artery will continue as which artery? Internal carotid artery will continue as middle cerebral artery. There are other branches also, anterior cerebral and other branches, but which is a continuation of internal carotid is middle cerebral. And that's why the thrombuses are most commonly seen in the middle cerebral artery of the brain. So it's all very conceptual. You can understand that which blood vessels are running in the same line because they are all representing the example of vasculogenesis. You rarely will hear an example where the thrombus goes into the external carotid artery. It will not take a course of the skin and then go into external carotid. So coming to the curve, so this was about the content of carotid sheath. Now, the relations of carotid sheath are equally important. If I take a transverse section of the carotid sheath, like the one we already saw, and put it in that way, so let's say this, once again, I'm going back to the transverse section only. Let's say for the orientation sake, guys, this is anterior, posterior, and obviously on both sides, that's lateral. You can consider any of these carotids. I'm writing lateral both the sides. You can consider right or left, whichever it is. Anterior and posterior is important for us here. So inside we have obviously the common carotid and internal carotid. The vein is the internal jugular vein, and the nerve in between the two spaces. You don't have to write them again. You already know the content inside. Now come to the relation. Anterior relation of carotid sheath, very very important, and that is even adherent to the anterior wall, is ansa cervicalis. Ansa cervicalis. We have two descendants. One is descendant cervicalis, one is descendant hypoglossite. So both the descendants are present in the anterior relation. So it's a very very important anterior relation of ansa cervicalis. And please remember, it is adherent to the anterior wall. It's not only related; it is adherent to the anterior wall of the carotid sheath. Whereas posterior relation, not adherent this time, the posterior relation of the carotid sheath is the sympathetic chain. That's not adherent, but yet is definitely closely related to it. That is sympathetic chain, which is in posterior relation. Which is in posterior relation. Trust me, all these little details are the basic foundation to identify the structure, especially in the image-based question. Doesn't matter it's a cadaveric image or it's a schematic line diagram, but if you have this theoretical knowledge fixed in your brain, then it's very easy to decipher the structures. You can always eliminate the options if not find out the right answer at one go. So the anterior relation of the carotid sheath is ansa cervicalis, the descendant cervicalis and descendants hypoglossal both are adherent to the anterior wall. So as I said, they're not just related to it, adherent. Posterior relation, sympathetic chain. Not adherent, it is present posterior to the carotid sheath, but yet it is anterior to some fascia that is called the prevertebral fascia. We'll see that. Now we're going to take this picture of the carotid sheath and put it back into the same diagram that we discussed the transverse section of the neck, and we need to find out some more relations there so that it is easy for us to identify, especially the nerves in that region. There was a question asked in a couple of years back in the AIIMS in which the vagus nerve was to identify. Probably that was the first time they asked that kind of question, so it was a simpler nerve to identify. It's not difficult to find out the carotid sheath in any transverse section, and the only nerve that you see in the carotid sheath is the vagus nerve. But this is also for sure that next time when they ask this question, they're not going to ask the vagus nerve again, because that's very very simple, and they already asked this question. So they might ask you the ansas, sympathetic chain, phrenic nerve, brachial plexus, where all these nerves, recurrent laryngeal nerve, we have that present. So it's our responsibility now to understand other location of other nerves also, so that if the same section is given, we could do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, guys, I'm going to take the posterior part of the transverse section again and put the carotid sheath along with it. So we're just focusing on the posterior part of the transverse section where we have this vertebral column. So there we go. This here is the. Let's make sure to draw it slightly bigger this time. Here is the prevertebral fascia. Something all around, I'm just drawing it in this way. This is the prevertebral fascia. And let's say this here is the carotid sheath. Let's look on one side only. This is the carotid sheath. The transverse process of the cervical vertebrae, they are known for the attachment of the scalene muscles, scalenus anterior, scalenus medius, and scalenus posterior. And again, it's not difficult to identify these muscles because they're all having a relation to the transverse process. So if you see muscle anterior to transverse process, scalenus anterior, behind scalenus posterior, and to the tip and goes outside, that is scalenus medius. So the three scalene muscle which you see in here is the scalenus anterior, let's say in this manner. We've got a scalenus medius here, and this is the scalenus posterior. We got scalenus anterior, that's a scalenus medius, and that's posterior. Okay, so we're going to look at some important relations based on these muscle and fascia. The one we already know is the vagus nerve inside, that's the vagus. One adherent to the anterior wall, that is ansa. The one which is behind the carotid sheath. Now look at this. It's behind the carotid sheath, but in front of the prevertebral fascia. That's very important to note. It is behind the carotid sheath, but in front of prevertebral fascia. This was sympathetic chain. This is sympathetic chain. And if this question is asked again, let's say in future, like I put my money on the phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve is a very, very important nerve to be identified in the transverse section of the neck, in the transverse section of the thorax, in the longitudinal section, or even from the front view. So I've seen the questions being asked in the thorax part, and there was one question, image-based question given at the root of the neck, where the phrenic nerve was also to be identified. In a very, very recently conducted INICT, they even asked this question about the nerve responsible for the paradoxical breathing, in which phrenic nerve was to be identified again in the section of the neck. So they are very particular about asking the location of phrenic nerve, identification of phrenic nerve. If it is a transverse section, where will you find phrenic nerve? It is present in front of scalenus anterior, but importantly, behind prevertebral fascia. Please note that. It's in front of scalenus anterior. It runs in front of the scalenus anterior only. That's the main thing about its course. But yeah, it is hidden behind the prevertebral fascia. So that's where the phrenic nerve is. So the phrenic nerve is located. It's in front of scalenus anterior, behind prevertebral fascia. Between scalenus anterior and scalenus medius, what do you expect to see between scalenus anterior and medius? The entire brachial plexus. Brachial plexus, when it leaves the neck region and goes into the axilla, it obviously goes between the scalenus anterior and medius. Even the subclavian vessels go the same way. So the nerve we're talking about here, these are the roots which are going to form brachial plexus. You can simply say cervical nerves, C5, C6, C7, or in simpler term, you can say brachial plexus roots are the ones which are coming out between scalenus anterior and medius. Because as of now, we see one about the nerves we're talking about. Ansa is in front, vagus is inside the carotid sheath, sympathetic chain is behind but in front of prevertebral fascia. Phrenic nerve is in front of scalenus anterior, behind prevertebral fascia. And then we have brachial plexus root which are present between scalenus anterior and medius. Lastly, let's add on one more thing here. If I have to expand the same diagram again, this was trachea and esophagus. There is a trachea here. Trachea and esophagus. In the tracheoesophageal groove here, I put on both the sides. In tracheoesophageal groove, the nerve that you appreciate here is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. The branch of vagus nerve. Vagus nerve is in the carotid sheath, but not the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Recurrent laryngeal nerve is running back in the tracheo-esophageal groove. So this is how overall you are able to identify the structures in the transverse section of the neck. Let me show you one picture from the atlas, and we'll try to identify as many structures as possible there. So anyway, this is the transverse section of the neck, more or less the same kind of section that we do, and let's identify the medial fascias in it. The first we said when we take a transverse section, the anterolateral and the posterior lateral muscle. This here obviously is the sternocleidomastoid. You can see bilaterally this is the sternocleidomastoid, and here we got the trapezius muscle. Sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. And can you see the red colored fascia which is covering them? Of course, that is the investing layer. That is the investing layer of deep cervical fascia covering the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. Clearly, this is the thyroid gland. There's a thyroid gland, and the fascia that you see around the thyroid gland is in front of the trachea. That's why it is a pretracheal fascia. It's a pretracheal fascia. And I hope you can even appreciate there's some muscles present in front. Look at the strap muscles present in front here. The sternohyoid and sternothyroid is there in front of it, and they are also covered with the fascia here. And I told you, do not confuse this with an extension of investing layer because they are extension of pretracheal only. They are extension of pretracheal fascia only. We call the muscular part of pretracheal fascia. This is the vascular layer, the blue one, and this is the muscular layer of pretracheal. If you look at the orange colored fascia which is shown here, that is covering all these prevertebral muscles. So that obviously is a prevertebral. That's a prevertebral fascia. This, of course, is the carotid sheath. That's a carotid sheath, which is contributed by all the investing pretracheal prevertebral. And now let's identify the nerves in there. Now starting from the anterior part, can you see the nerve present in the tracheo-esophageal groove here? This nerve here is the recurrent laryngeal nerve. You can see bilaterally present that recurrent laryngeal nerve in the tracheo-esophageal groove, the recurrent laryngeal nerve. Inside the carotid sheath, we got vagus nerve. This here is sympathetic chain. Now let me just mark on the other side here. This is the sympathetic chain. The point to be noted here in the sympathetic chain is that it is present behind the carotid sheath, but in front of this orange colored fascia, that is in front. That's why when you see a real-time section or atlas image, the nerves are very, very close to each other. So you have to identify based on the placement inside or outside the fascia. And if I enlarge this picture further for you, can you appreciate the scalene muscles? Now this is the scalenus anterior, this here is scalenus medius, and then we have scalenus posterior behind. Now scalenus anterior and medial. In front of scalenus anterior, this is what this here is the phrenic. This is the phrenic. Now you can see this behind the fascia. Between scalenus anterior and medius, what is that? That is the brachial plexus. These are the cervical root legs which are going to give rise to the brachial plexus. You find it between the muscle. Well, two important things that you need to understand here is when you see vagus nerve and phrenic nerve in the neck region, which one is anterior? I clearly see vagus nerve is in front and phrenic is behind. All very close, they're like not far away from each other. But yeah, still in front is what vagus and behind we have phrenic. But as soon as we cross this level here, the inlet of the thorax, the relation changes. The phrenic nerve will come in front and vagus nerve will go behind. And see, this will make sense. Why? Because the phrenic nerve is the one which will go down and supply the fibrous pericardium and diaphragm. So it is present more anterior. It is running in front of the root of the lung, in front of the hilum of the lung. Vagus nerve has to run along with the esophagus and will go downward, reach the stomach to form the gastric nerves over there. So the vagus nerve has to go into posterior medius. So this relation phrenic, the vagus in front and phrenic behind in the neck, by the time they reach the thorax, as soon as they enter the thorax, the relation changes. The phrenic nerve is the one which goes in front and the vagus nerve will come behind. So they will change their course. So when you see a transverse section of neck and when you see a transverse section of thorax, remember that the relation will be exactly opposite. In the thorax, phrenic will be in front and vagus is behind. Let me ask you one question here. If you're paying attention to this picture, guys, there is something missing here. We are not able to appreciate the ansa cervicalis. Now, why can't we see ansa cervicalis in this? There should be ansa cervicalis present in front of the carotid sheath, but there is no ansa cervicalis shown here. The reason is, and the reason can be understood by looking at this vertebrae. If you look at this vertebrae, it doesn't look like a cervical vertebrae. It looks like more like a thoracic vertebrae. Reason, it is the last cervical vertebrae. It's a C7 vertebrae. And C7, the seventh cervical vertebrae, it's more like a thoracic vertebrae. So by looking at this cervical vertebrae, I make out this section is from the very, very lower part of the, the neck. And carotid sheath is not reaching that level here. Carotid sheath is reaching hardly till C5 level. And this section is taken at the C7 level. So when you take a section at the C7 level, the ansa cervicalis is finished above. Ansa cervicalis finishes somewhere here, and the section is taken below it. And that is the reason we are not able to identify the ansa. If you take this section like 2 or 3 segments above, you definitely will see the carotid sheath having a relation of ansa in front. Okay, the other spaces and fascias to be discussed here in between, we first need to understand them in a sagittal section. So the next section we are going to discuss, and we have to discuss in 2 parts. Please understand this. If imagine I take a sagittal section exactly like this, if I take a mid-sagittal section from here, now what all we expect to see here? If it is a mid-sagittal section, what all we expect to see here? First, you will see some bony landmarks. Like what you will see the mandible, then you will see the hyoid bone, and then you will see below here the mandibular part. The problem with this sagittal section is, and I want you to understand this very well because when people draw the sagittal section, they still don't get oriented. When you draw a sagittal section here, I don't want to look in front because I'm missing my submandibular gland. If I turn my head to one side, look at this. If I turn my head to one side and then I take a sagittal section, now this section is of more use because now I have all the glands lying in one straight line. I have my parotid gland above, I got my submandibular gland below, I have my thyroid gland just below that here. So 1, 2, 3, all the major glands they come into one straight line only. So that is an advantage of taking a sagittal section but with the head turned to one side. So I turn my head to one side and then take a sagittal section. I can see all these glands in one line and this will give you more information about it. That's sagittal section. So this time we are taking a sagittal section, and no harm in writing, we are taking sagittal section with head turned to side. Because in maximum textbook of anatomy, they will show you the sagittal section like this only, without turning the head to the side. So they miss the parotid and submandibular, especially the submandibular gland, which is important, is not to be missed. Okay. Now the diagram is going to be very schematic, so this may not give you the appearance of the real-time diagram unless I show you in the atlas image. So I want you to anticipate what you're going to see, guys. Let me turn the head to the side, and if I take the sagittal section, the first thing I'm going to appreciate here is this body of mandible. I'll see the body and the ramus part of mandible. Just below that, the hyoid bone, talking about the bony prominences, the hyoid bone, and below that here I'll find the sternum. That's the first thing I'll notice. And between all these bony prominences, a fascia which is present outside and like covering them around is the investing layer. Investing layer is the outermost fascia. So investing layer is the one which is seen stretching between all of them. Let's start from this point. So as I said, in this section, let's say the section goes from mandible. This is the mandible bone. Let's show the mandibular tooth also. Let's say here is the hyoid bone. It's a section going through the hyoid bone. And more inferiorly, let's say this is the sagittal view of the sternum. That is the manubrium part, basically. Here's the hyoid. And that's manubrium. Stay oriented to this. It's a sagittal section, so you have to presume you're seeing it from the side. You take a section, you cut a section like this, and then you see it from the side, of course. So you'll see a piece of mandible, you will see a cut section of the hyoid, and you'll see a piece of the manubrium from the side. Fascia which is stretching, guys. Look at this fascia which is stretching between the mandible and the hyoid. It is splitting between the mandible and the hyoid bone like this. It again unites and stretches below the hyoid bone, and it again splits above the manubrium. It again splits above the manubrium. The fascia which shows this characteristic of splitting mainly is in the investing layer. This here is the investing layer once again. Try to label it on the side I'm doing it. We need to use the space on the other side. That's the investing layer. In the transverse section, we saw investing layer was enclosing the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. Now, what will it enclose here? Between the mandible and hyoid. Now, think about it, guys. If I turn my head to the side and if you look at between the mandible and hyoid bone, what is the gland here? The submandibular gland. What is the gland above here? The parotid gland. So, we're not showing the parotid region that is higher, but at least submandibular gland can be appreciated. So, we have a submandibular gland which is enclosed in between. That's the submandibular gland enclosed in the investing layer. And you can also see above the manubrium, it is enclosing a space here. So there's a space which is present here, like above the manubrium, this region. That space, which is again enclosed by the investing layer, is called as a suprasternal space, or you can even call it the burn space. The right simply term that is suprasternal. This is called a suprasternal space. So that's the first thing you notice in the sagittal section: the gland enclosed in the investing layer and the space that is suprasternal. Let's go further, guys. Let's remove all these things and see what is next to it. If I just get rid of this mandible, hyoid bone, and what do you say, this sternum, the next thing that I'm going to see is the next fascia, that is a pretracheal fascia. The origin of pretracheal fascia above is again from the hyoid bone. Investing layer is starting even further high. The pretracheal layer is going to start from the hyoid bone. As we know, it is enclosing the thyroid gland and muscles also. It's only focused on the thyroid gland, and then it extends downward. Look at this. It is going till the manubriosternal junction. It's not ending at the upper border of manubrium like this one. It is going beyond the manubrium. It is going to the junction of manubrium and body called as sternal angle, which is at the T4 level. So yes, what is that? What fascia? That is a pretracheal fascia. That is a pretracheal fascia. What it does, it encloses the gland. This time, what gland is that? That is a thyroid gland. It is enclosing thyroid gland. And then you can see it is extending downward to the manubriosternal junction or to the level of T4. Now, if it goes to the level of T4, lower border of T4, which is also the sternal angle level, you can say, how it is ending? It is ending by merging with the apex of fibrous pericardium. It is merging with the apex of fibrous pericardium. So, fibrous pericardium apex goes to this point only. So, it merges with the apex of the fibrous pericardium. See, this is the main motive here in this section to see that from where to where they extend in the longitudinal section. Investing layer, it starts above, of course, because investing layer is enclosing the parotid gland also. We'll see that. So, it's coming all the way from here, from the zygomatic arch, I can say. And then it encloses the parotid gland. And the one you can appreciate here is submandibular gland. Then goes and encloses the space there, and that's it. Pretracheal fascia is not starting that high. Pretracheal fascia is starting at the level of hyoid only, but it goes further down. It is not ending at the sternal upper border. It is going beyond it. It goes to the manubriosternal angle till the level of lower border of T4, also called the sternal angle level, and merges with the apex of fibrous pericardium. Right? Okay. Now, in this section, guys, this is a huge section. I mean, we still have many things present behind. We have trachea behind this, then we have pharynx behind it, then we have vertebral column, there's a prevertebral fascia. If I try to draw everything in one diagram only, this gets confusing only. So that's why I've divided this diagram in two parts. Right now, you're looking at this anterior part. Now, whatever is just posterior to it, man, whatever is there just posterior to it, we're going to draw it separately. So then we have what pharynx is behind, vertebral column is behind, and then we have some fascias covering. So the posterior part of this diagram, we're going to draw it separately. So it's just the posterior part of the same sagittal section. So again, it will be better for your later understanding. Just you note it down that it's the posterior part of the sagittal section, the same sagittal section that we drew. It is just the posterior part, the posterior half of it. Okay. So there we go. Let's say this here is the base of skull. This is the base of skull here, right? That's the base of skull. Let's presume here is the vertebral column. What C1, C2, count these vertebrae there. C3, C4, 5, 6, and 7. And then I need this diagram to T3, T1, T2, and T3. So make sure if you're drawing it with me, just take it to the T1, T2, and T3. I'm purposefully leaving more gap in there. Let's say this is the pharyngeal wall. So let's say this is the pharynx or the pharyngeal wall. It's a pharynx and esophagus, right? So we mainly have to focus on the space between the pharynx and this vertebral column. What we already discussed, guys, when we said there are fascias covering the pharynx from inside and outside. And I hope you remember we said buccopharyngeal fascia was outside and pharyngobasilar was inside. Buccopharyngeal is covering the buccinator and pharyngeal wall from outside. So the fascia that you see, which is present outside, here, outside this pharyngeal wall, this is the buccopharyngeal fascia. Adherent, but it is outside. Adherent, but outside. So this fascia here is the buccopharyngeal fascia. The fascia in front of the vertebral column or around the vertebral column, that was the prevertebral leg or prevertebral fascia. We use this blue color here, this is the prevertebral fascia. And this prevertebral fascia, it keeps on going in front of the vertebral column on and on and on and on till the sacrum. So it is going all the way to the sacrum and coccygeal vertebrae. It goes all the way to the sacrum and coccygeal vertebrae. This is the prevertebral layer or prevertebral fascia. Okay, here's the catch. It goes till the this prevertebral fascia is extended all the way way to the what do you say, the sacrum and coccygeal vertebrae. And yes, there's a space behind it also. You can clearly see there's a space there. That space will be called as a pretracheal space, pre-vertebral space. It's behind the prevertebral fascia, so we call it prevertebral space. So we have this prevertebral space extending downward, and it goes all the way to the sacrum and coccyx. But the point is, this prevertebral space of the cervical region is separated from the prevertebral space of the thoracic region. Reason: the prevertebral fascia, it gives off some extension which attaches to the anterior longitudinal ligament of T1, T2, as well as T3. Many basic books say that fascia extends till T4, but that's not right. It's extending all the way down to the coccygeal vertebrae. But yes, the prevertebral space above and the prevertebral space below are separated from each other. Why? Because we have an extension of this fascia which comes back and attaches to the anterior longitudinal ligament of T1, T2, T3. Obviously, the body of vertebrae is having an anterior longitudinal ligament here, and that anterior longitudinal ligament is receiving the attachment from prevertebral fascia, which is separating this space from it. So this space here is what I'm writing P for it. This is the prevertebral space. So as the P here represents the prevertebral space. That is the prevertebral space. Okay. Now there's another fascia which usually we don't talk about radiologically, we don't talk about it. In the radiograph, we talk about buccopharyngeal fascia and the prevertebral fascia and the ENT also. But one fascia which is there anatomically, which is present, but you cannot see it in the radiograph, so that's why they do not mention it in the radiographs. That is called as an alar fascia. Alar fascia, which is also called as an anterior layer of prevertebral fascia. You call it alar fascia, or you can call it the anterior layer of prevertebral fascia. That's why I'm using the same term only. Anterior layer of prevertebral fascia. It starts from the base of the skull. It comes down like this, and it merges with the buccopharyngeal fascia. Look at that. It merges with the buccopharyngeal fascia. This fascia here is called as the alar fascia. Alar fascia, as I said, also referred as what? Anterior layer of prevertebral. Anterior layer of prevertebral fascia. And because of this alar fascia, what happens is now you see another space there, and this space is trapped between the buccopharyngeal fascia and the alar fascia. Look at this. This space is trapped between the buccopharyngeal and alar fascia. Now I'm writing R for this space because the space is called as a retropharyngeal space. It is behind the pharynx, so we call it the retropharyngeal space. It's a retropharyngeal space. Generally, we say retropharyngeal space to everything which is present behind. I mean, even they call this as a retropharyngeal space only because it is behind the pharynx. Because we are not able to appreciate this alar fascia radiologically, so the entire space they refer as retropharyngeal space. But anatomically, the true retropharyngeal space is present between the alar fascia and buccopharyngeal fascia. They ask this question, so please remember that retropharyngeal space is between buccopharyngeal and the alar fascia. So what about the remaining space? Now, the point about the remaining spaces, if you look at the prevertebral and retropharyngeal space, fortunately, these spaces are closed below. It is by the extension, and this one is because it is fusing with the buccopharyngeal fascia. So if there is any infection present in prevertebral space or at the true retropharyngeal space, that will not go beyond certain level. That will stay in the cervical region only. But unfortunately, if there is any infection present in this space here in between, then there's nothing stopping below. It can easily go downward, and keep on going downward into the thorax and reach the posterior mediastinum also. So the abscess which started here in the cervical region, because it can use this space to go down and reach the posterior mediastinum to compress the esophagus and trachea, causing dysphagia or dyspnea, and that's why this space is called as a danger space. This space here is called as the danger space. So I'm writing D here for the danger space. Now this was the AIIMS image-based question asked in the sagittal. So give us a sagittal section of the neck in which the danger space was to be identified, which is mainly present between, you can say it is present between the anterior and posterior layer of prevertebral fascia, or you can say between alar fascia and prevertebral fascia. And I want to please note it down also that infections of the danger space can easily drop down to posterior mediastinum, and they can cause dysphagia and dyspnea. I repeat again if you're writing, the infections of the danger space can easily drop down to posterior mediastinum. This will continue as posterior mediastinum only. Easily drop down to posterior mediastinum and can cause dysphagia and dyspnea. To the posterior mediastinum and can cause dysphagia and dyspnea. So this was the posterior part of the sagittal section, and that was the anterior part of the sagittal section. Now I'm going to show you a picture in which we can see all the together in atlas image, and just so that we can have a better orientation, let's flip the section. We should be habitual of seeing the section from both the sides, especially sagittal section from both from the right and the left side. You should be able to identify it. Right now, what we're drawing is here, anterior is on that side, posterior is here. But the image I'm going to show you is other way around. So you have to think about, you have to look into the face and then identify it. So there we go. This was the transfer section, and there comes the leg. Look at this. The face is on the other side. This side. This time here is anterior, obviously that is posterior. Let's start from the posterior aspect itself. Look at the fascia which is present in front of the vertebral column. The thick orange colored fascia we have here. This is the prevertebral fascia. Right in short, there is pre here. There is prevertebral fascia. And you can see if you look at the prevertebral fascia closely, it is extending all the way downward. It's going keep on continuing downward here. It has some attachment to T1, T2, T3, which is not shown in this basic image. Look at the green colored fascia here, coming to the one which is again coming from the base of the skull, and that here is the buccopharyngeal fascia. There is a buccopharyngeal fascia. And in between the two, if you can appreciate, there's another orange colored fascia which is shown here, coming from the base of the skull. There is an anterior layer of prevertebral fascia, and that is the alar fascia. That is the alar fascia. Let me highlight the space for you. The true retropharyngeal space is the one which I'm highlighting in yellow. Look at this, it is extending between the alar fascia and buccopharyngeal fascia, and there we go, it is obliterated here. That's it. It's not going beyond this point. Whereas if you see the space behind it, that's the danger space. That's the danger space, which is extending, with this green color, it is extending downward. Nothing is stopping it below. It is all the way going into the posterior medius. So that is the danger space, and that was the question asked. The danger space. If I enlarge the section even further, you can try to identify more fascias present anteriorly here. Look at that. Look at the red one, guys. This one, this is again an investing layer. Now, the difference in this diagram and the one when we drew it with the head turned to one side. This is simply a sagittal section in this manner. So you can see it is coming all the way from the symphysis mentae part to the hyoid bone, and then it is descending downward. So it is not, that's why submandibular gland can't be seen here, because the section is a mid-sagittal section. We're looking ahead, facing forward. So this is the investing layer, but at least you can see the investing layer above the manubrium is holding a space here, and that space was the suprasternal space. You go further backward, you can see another fascia coming downward here and enclosing a thyroid gland. This is a thyroid gland, and obviously this is a pretracheal fascia. And what we discussed for the pretracheal fascia, that it goes is asked, we said alar fascia is fusing with the buccopharyngeal fascia, but at what level? This alar fascia, the one, just take it back for a second. We said that alar fascia, you saw it is merging with the buccopharyngeal fascia, right? It is merging with the buccopharyngeal fascia. I'm putting this asterisk sign here, that's point it is merging here, right? At what level it merges, right? It's quite variable. It can merge anywhere between C6 to T4. It can merge anywhere between C6 to T4. So you can just note that also, this alar fascia, it merges with buccopharyngeal fascia between C6 and T4. So you cannot pinpoint it. The fusion can be seen anywhere between C6 to T4. In that case, you might argue that, okay, if it is going to T4, then obviously the retropharyngeal infection can also come into the mediastinum. Yes, it can, but it is still the superior mediastinum because the posterior mediastinum starts after T4 only. The major posterior mediastinum is after T4. So it can still only go into the superior mediastinum, not the posterior. Posterior mediastinum infection, only danger space can reach there. Well, after these two sections, we need to kind of summarize everything together, and especially the investing area, because we are doing it in the scattered form. In the transfer section, we saw investing areas enclosing sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. We saw two things investing there. In the zygote section, we said it is enclosing the parotid gland, we did not see the submandibular gland, and the space called a suprasternal space. And similarly, there are other modifications also we have for the investing area as well. So let's finally, in the deep cervical fascia, talk about those modifications of investing area. So finally, the two important spaces that we have to discuss, which are enclosed by the investing area. Investing area is present all around the neck, right? It's like a sleeve around the neck. You wear a collar around the neck, it's like a fascia. When we took a skeletal section, we saw a space above the manubrium, but that was because we took a skeletal section. I can only see a space above the manubrium. But if you take a section more laterally, which is going above the clavicle, we do have a space above the clavicle also. So there is a space above the manubrium and there is a space above the clavicle as well. So we have a suprasternal as well as supraclavicular space. Both are separated from each other and both have their some contents inside. So if I first try to put it diagrammatically, guys, if this here is the manubrium, let's support you this is manubrium here, and here we have the clavicle. Looking at the manubrium and the clavicle. So this investing layer of deep cervical fascia, it encloses the space here that is above the manubrium. And it also encloses the space above the middle part of the clavicle, medial between the middle third of the clavicle. Simply say above the clavicle. This space, the suprasternal, and this space, supraclavicle. This is called as the suprasternal space, also called as the Burns space. Suprasternal space or Burns space, whereas this one here is called as the supraclavicular space. Needless to say, if you have any space present in the neck or anywhere else, it somehow is surgically important to you. Suprasternal space, the Burns space, or supraclavicular space. Now, what are the contents? Let's again anticipate the contents here before we write them simply. Suprasternal space, guys, what content will be there? You can see both the medial end of clavicle is closed, right? We have a medial end of the clavicle here. So there's a ligament which is stretching between the clavicle from clavicle to clavicle. That is called as interclavicular ligament. So that interclavicular ligament is connecting the two medial end of the clavicle. One structure. Second structure that you expect to see here is the sternal head of sternocleidomastoid. If I turn my head to one side, you can see this muscle sternocleidomastoid. Now, one head of the sternocleidomastoid is originating from the clavicle, but one head is coming to get this from the sternum. You can see that this is the sternal head here. So that sternal head of sternocleidomastoid is another structure that you will see inside the space only. And the third content is the loop which is connecting the anterior jugular vein. We have external jugular vein, we have internal jugular vein, but we also have a vein running close to the midline of neck called as anterior jugular vein. So both the anterior jugular vein, they come in here and they have a loop which is connecting them, and that is called as the jugular venous arch, connecting the anterior jugular vein. That is also the content of suprasternal space. So if I write it here, the content of the suprasternal space goes like, number one, what was the ligament? It was the interclavicular ligament. We got interclavicular ligament. Number two, we got jugular venous arch. What is jugular venous arch? It is the venous arch connecting what vein? Anterior. Don't write internal or external. It is connecting the anterior jugular vein. Anterior jugular vein. And number three is the sternal head. Sternal head of sternocleidomastoid. Sternal head of sternocleidomastoid. That is awesome. So these are three major content of the Burns space. So suprasternal space. We have some lymph nodes also there. Coming to the supraclavicular space. Now we have some very good practical importance of the supraclavicular space, guys. I have to consider it separately again. Now, for the supraclavicular space, let us say this is the clavicle. I'm just putting it separately here, and that's the space we're talking about. See, the supraclavicular space is invaded by certain structures which either have to come out or have to go in. So, like the structures over there are not to stay inside. We have structures in the space which is either coming out or going in. Now, what first of all goes in? Something which is superficially placed and then goes through the space and drain inside. That is external jugular vein. External jugular vein is running superficial to sternocleidomastoid, and that external jugular vein will come into the space, and through the spaces goes even backward and drains into subclavian. So one thing, that is external jugular vein will be seen coming like this and then going into the space to drain into the subclavian. So one structure there is what? That is an external jugular vein. Second thing, something which is coming from inside to outside. The branches from the cervical plexus, we call them supraclavicular nerves. Supraclavicular nerves are present inside, they're present deep to the fascia here, and then they pierce the deep fascia, and through the space, those nerves come out having three branches. These are supraclavicular nerve. That's a supraclavicular. So the two contents of the space are external jugular vein and supraclavicular nerves. Now this external supraclavicular nerve is very, very important. Why? The name and the supply is not corresponding. We call them supraclavicular nerve because the origin is above the clavicle, but ultimately the branches are coming below the clavicle. So the skin which is supplied by supraclavicular nerve is below. The name is supraclavicular, but the skin supplied by the supraclavicular nerve is all below the clavicle. We got three branches there for the supraclavicular. One is the medial branch. We got this intermediate branch, and this of course is the lateral branch. And out of these three branches, two are a potential question. Which two? First, intermediate branch. Now this intermediate branch, the thing about the intermediate branch is it can be seen piercing clavicle. It may pierce clavicle when it comes down. It may pierce clavicle when it comes down. So out of the three nerves, rest two are just passing superficial to clavicle, but this intermediate branch can be seen piercing the clavicle, which at times doesn't make sense that why a nerve is piercing a bone to come down. Well, the fact is the nerve is not piercing the bone is ossifying around the nerve. We all know that clavicle is partly by the membranous ossification. So that ossification takes place around the intermediate branch of supraclavicular nerve. So finally it gives the appearance that the nerve is piercing the bone and coming out, but the fact was that bone was ossified around the nerve itself. And what is the importance of lateral branch? See, if you look at the three branches supplying here, medial branch must be supplying the skin somewhere here, intermediate somewhere here, and lateral branch is supplying the skin over the deltoid region, in this region, in the upper part of deltoid. And why it is important, guys? This lateral branch of supraclavicular nerve is having a dermatome of C5. So it is supplying the skin in this region with the C5 dermatome. C5 also is an important root value for the phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve supplies diaphragm. Phrenic nerve is C3, C4, C5. So phrenic nerve is also having C5. So if somebody is having a diaphragmatic pain is obviously carried by the phrenic nerve. Phrenic nerve is having C5, but C5 is also supplying the skin at the shoulder tip here. And that's why the diaphragmatic pain are referred to the shoulder tip. Because the same C5 root which is in the phrenic nerve and the same root value is also supplying the skin over this region here. That's what the referred pain is all about. So because of this lateral branch of supraclavicular nerve, having a C5 dermatome, diaphragmatic pain are referred to shoulder tip. Diaphragmatic pain are referred to the shoulder tip. I hope you all know about the referred pain. The brain is more acquainted to the pain which is coming from the somatic structure, from the outside. So we are more habitual of knowing that the pain coming from the skin or from the muscle from the outside. So if a pain is coming from an unusual region or from anywhere else or from where generally the pain is not, the sensation are not coming from, so the brain might confuse that sensation with the sensation coming from somewhere else. That is what we call as a referred pain. Finally, just to summarize the entire investing layer of deep cervical fascia at one place. So the investing layer of deep cervical fascia, it follows the rule of two. Now what this rule of two says, it encloses two muscles. You know that which two muscles are we talking about? We're talking about the sternocleidomastoid and trapezius. That is the first two here. It encloses two glands. Which two glands? One is parotid gland. We said face is devoid of deep fascia except parotid region. So one is parotid gland and other one is submandibular gland. Parotid and submandibular. Then we got the third one, that is it encloses two spaces. We just discussed the two spaces. Which two spaces? We got Burn's space, that is suprasternal space, and also supraclavicular space. Two spaces. It encloses two ligaments. I should not say encloses, actually it forms two ligaments. Not just encloses. The better word than encloses is it forms. There are two ligaments which are the modification of investing layer. And those two ligaments are stylomandibular. One is the stylomandibular ligament and the other one is the sphenomandibular ligament. Stylomandibular and sphenomandibular ligament. And lastly, this also forms two pulleys. What muscles need a pulley, guys? What two muscles in the neck which require a pulley? The muscles which are having more than one belly. So we have like anterior and posterior belly of digastric, and we have a superior and the inferior belly of omohyoid. So the two muscles which will need a pulley is the digastric muscle, and the next one would be the omohyoid. The digastric and the omohyoid. So that is so-called the rule of two for the investing leg. Includes two muscles, two gland, two spaces, two ligaments, and also forms two pulleys.